sneak peek today at some of the new brand assets. A little bit of a sneaky peeky. All right, now check this out. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. You guys get a little bit of a sneak peek at some of the new brand assets today. That's fun, right? That's fun. Debs, good to see you. Gemma, or is it Gemma? Gemma. Love the name Gemma, by the way. I'm glad that you're catching us live today. Roxanne from Hamilton, Ontario. Welcome, Carla. Good to see you in England. Piercing Priestess. You have 2% battery. Well, heck, sorry. I'm probably going to use all that. Sorry about that. It is good to see everybody here. We've got a bunch of members of the Storm showing up. Caroline, Nursey Deer, Pam K. Good to see you all. Nursey Deer, throwing those stars at us. Vita, you loved the intro. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. We've been working hard on that kind of stuff. Nursey, it's good to see you there as well. Flickappa from Sweden. Hello from Sweden there. It's good to see you here. It's good to see everybody here today. We have a lot of good stories picked out for you, and we are going to be using a lot of the new brand assets today. We don't officially launch until April 1st, but I wanted to test them out on you today just to see how it goes. I know my music was a little loud, and I'm bringing that down, but we've got a bunch of cool stuff to show you here today. Yeah, Nikki made it early. Look at that. Pam in Montana. Hello there. Good to see you. Good to see you. Carol, thank you for the love on the intro. The new brand is pretty baller. It's cool. It is cool. Northern Alley, thank you so much. Giving love to Candy Thunder and I. Candy will be on the stream. She let me know just a few minutes ago that she was walking into Sam's Club right now and fully planned on being that girl who walks around with her speakerphone on, listening to the stream and engaging with it. So we'll just say, hey, everybody at Sam's Club in whatever department she's in right now. Hello, Sam's Club members. Good to have everybody here today. Thank you. Serotonin boost. Now, Hoppy, check this out, though. We have a brand new background set up here. We got a lightning bolt, so I can finally bring my astronauts out because we got the new brand stuff. I installed some shelves over the weekend, and this is a spring break for us. So the team actually got a couple of days off, and Brady, my younger boy, he spent some time up here helping me install this stuff and get everything set up. So lots of new things coming your way. We're very excited about that. Also, rocking the brand new True American Champion shirt from New Girl. If you have those New Girl video or New Girl lovers out there, you'll understand. Look, Candy Thunder is in the stream now. Let's throw some lightning bolts up for Candy Thunder. Also, I expect to see Tony Spark here in the chat here soon as well. Maybe Father Curtis will jump in. Maybe even Miles will show up as well. Nikki says Candy Thunder is her hero. Mine too. Thank you guys so much, Chunky Chick, for the lightning bolts. Amanda, thank you so much for sending the TikToks. I did get some input about not trying to do a shout out to every single person that throws a gift during the stream today because it takes so much time. So I will catch what I can, and hopefully our mods can help me. Thank you as well. But I will try to stay focused and not get too distracted on that. What's the new tea from Dusty? Your husband asked. That's awesome. Oh man, that's killer. Curtis, there he is, Father Curtis with the New Girl lovers. Heck yeah. Amanda, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. And Chelsea, thank you for the lightning bolts. And Jesselyn as well. Thank you guys so much. Hey, before we get started in here, I want to give a huge shout out to the VIP group, which is made up of members of the Storm from here, the paid subs. The VIP group on Facebook has been a huge help in getting a lot of this new brand stuff ready, and even went through the new website, which is going to roll out soon, and helped me find some broken links and things that could be improved upon. You guys are flipping awesome. So huge shout out to the VIP group. You guys have been incredible. And we also even have some members in there that are helping with some things on the YouTube side. So we now have a YouTube exclusives playlist because of some of our help from that group. So you guys are the bestest. Love. All right. I'm going to go ahead and dive right in with the story here. This one is a follower submission, and it is, am I the astronaut for telling my 9-year-old her dad and I are getting a divorce when my husband wasn't home? Again, this is a follower submission, so OP, if you're here in the crowd and want to raise your hand and let people know that it's you so they can ask you additional questions, 100% your call. My female 39 and my husband, male 45, have been married for 10 years, and we are finally getting a divorce. The marriage has been failing for quite some time, and we have had separate bedrooms. But that's information a few other posts would have to cover and not relevant here. My husband had a falling out with some of his friends a while ago. He was angry they got together and didn't invite him. He said the fact that he was out of town at the time, 4 time zones away, didn't matter, and that they betrayed him by leaving him out. He got really angry, and it was ugly. The group hasn't really talked to him since. Anyway, this incident started last Friday night. I went out to a karaoke bar I have gone to a few times, and this particular group of ex-friends were there. They invited me to join, saying we had no problem. I did join while I waited for the person I was supposed to be meeting. Multiple pictures from the night were posted on Facebook. I was in one of them. Should we go ahead and do this? I believe we should. Look at that. We even have a new transition. Oh, man, it's so cool. The next morning, my hubs burst into my room and started screaming at me for betraying him by hanging out with them. He booked a week at a hotel because he can't stand to be around me, around you. You see, when I quote and I talk like that, it's tough. Because he can't stand to be around you. He huffed around the house while he did a load of laundry. Our 9-year-old tried to confront him at some point because he was so distraught. Then she asked if she could go out with him when he left. My husband told her, "No, I'm going to get a haircut and then I have a big date." He's been making quite a show of himself the last few weeks, bragging about how many dates he has gotten on his various dating apps. Should we do this again? I believe we should. I regretted it the moment I saw the look in her eyes. Now my husband is furious. He is posting all over. Oh, no, I skipped a paragraph. Sorry. After he hadn't been home for a few days, our daughter had more and more questions, especially since this week is the kids' spring break and they are home to notice that he is not. They also asked about all of Daddy's recent dates. Finally, I told her Daddy was dating other people because Mommy and Daddy were getting a divorce. I regretted it the moment I saw the look in her eyes. Now my husband is furious. He's posting all over social media about how horrible I am and how I told her without him on purpose just to hurt him. How he should have been there. My daughter and I were talking about what was going on, but it didn't have to happen yet. Now some of his friends are calling me a controlling and manipulative asshole. I do admit it was my decision and didn't have to be, so I'll own that. But am I the asshole for telling my daughter without her dad? Oh, this is a tricky one. This is tricky. What do we think here? Ooh, thank you so much for the gifts, guys. Tori, Josie, Airloud, Tammy's, thank you so much. Coin flip, Schmutz says. Yeah, man. I mean, okay. Let's look at it this way. If Daddy hadn't have made such a big scene about him going on dates and him not being there, that conversation would have never happened. It would have never happened. It's because he made the big scene and talked about going on dates. If he talked about going on dates in front of them, he teed this up. That's my thought here. He teed it up. There had to be a further explanation. Otherwise, they're sitting there thinking it's okay for Daddy to go on dates when he's married to Mommy. He practically told them himself, right? Just by saying that, and then by him not being there, and he's right. He should have been there, but that's not on you, OP. He should have been there, not gone, staying in a hotel, going on dates. I don't think this is on OP. Ugh. Nursey Deer says he asked for it. Caroline says exactly. Ash says, NTA, if dad didn't want the kiddo asking questions, he should have been bragging about dating. Yeah, that's where I'm at here. Yeah, he straight up told her she couldn't go with him because he had a big date. This kind of seems like, OP, are you here, first of all? Carol says dad made himself the A. He bragged about dating, so he let the news out. I think you're right there. Allie, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Appreciate that. Heather for the roses and Star for the roses. Thank you so much. He's playing the victim. There you go, Caitlin. I think you nailed it. I think he knows he's the asshole for doing what he's done here, but he's using any little potential misstep by OP to start getting people on his side, because what they're getting ready to enter here with, you know what seems like it's not going to be an amicable divorce. It's not going to be civil. And that's going to lead to custody hearings and battles and all of this crap too. He's trying to build his army just by using any little misstep that you OP make. Gaslighting hard, Tiffany. You're right. I think that's all this is here. I think it's posturing. But he teed up the conversation. Your daughter came to you and asked because of what he said. OP, I'm going to say you're not the asshole here. There's been a lot of ascon 2 for Daddy-O here, and that's potentially accurate. Let's take a look at what that entails now. Oh my gosh, even this is cooler now. Look at this. Would you just look at it? All right, this is the new ascon scale graphic, and ascon 2 is you definitely shouldn't have done that. And he definitely shouldn't have let that cat out of the bag while he was standing there in front of his daughter. If he didn't want it to be something that she knew about, I mean, he said it while his wife was there, so the argument about both parents needing to be there, it had already been handled, but he teed it up ahead of time. And I think this is accurate. I think it's ascon 2. Now, this graphic has not been updated yet, but it will be. It will be. We're working on something really cool for this. Yeah, I think, OP, if you're here, I think, what were your options? Your options were to either lie to your kid or say, let's wait till maybe daddy comes home so we can both talk to you about it, which is just going to lead to more questions. Or you just go ahead and tell your kid the truth, which is what you did. And I'm a big advocate of being transparent with them when things are going on. I think they need to understand it. They need to understand what's going on, because kids, it's like they can feel it. You know, kids are probably empaths by default, and they can feel when the vibe is off. They can feel when things are tense. They can feel when things are going on. In this case, it is going to affect them. So you have to tell them at some point. And when they ask is a time that makes sense there. Overlooking that point that he was very clearly hurt about that. Yes, he shouldn't have said it, but should she have went out with his friends, everybody? Yeah, okay, so kicking, that is a good point here. I think, OP, you did make a critical error here, which just got him pissed off. That's the ultimate story here about, you know, are you the asshole for telling your daughter? No, I don't think so. Hanging out with his friends, his ex-friends, and appearing in that picture, which is what, you know, pissed him off even more. But you guys were already headed for this anyway. That just accelerated things. That was an asshole move. And hell, you might have done it on purpose just to piss him off, because he was already being a diva about anything. But that was an asshole move, and you knew it was going to cause problems just hanging out with them, period. The safe play would have been like, oh no, you got beef. You know, if I hang out with you guys, it's potentially going to make my situation worse. So I'm cool chilling over here. But you didn't. You hung out with them and ended up in a photo. That didn't start anything. It just accelerated it. So that was a misstep. And and I think that's probably what fuels the whole him getting pissed off about you telling the daughter. If you hadn't appeared in those photos and you had said something, he might not have been as mad. So that was a misstep, but I don't think it makes OP the asshole here. And Nursey, I agree. Yeah, she ran into them, but she didn't have to join them, knowing that there was beef there. She didn't have to join them. And by doing that, I think she just further created a divide between them. She was waiting for someone else and they ran into each other, but she joined them. That's the tough part. You can run into somebody in public and not join their table, not hang out with them, and not end up in pictures with them. Now, it might have been past the point of no return, but I think it made the situation that you're in right now, OP, more tense because of that. And you could have avoided that by not joining them, but you still would have ended up having to tell your kids about this, so it's almost irrelevant. It just made him more pissed off and more likely to try to find any little thing that you've done and use it as ammo against you. It's interesting. It's a tough one, but ultimately, I mean, situations like this, him talking about his dates in front of the kids and not being okay with you talking about you guys getting a divorce is complete hypocrisy. And that puts him up in the ASCon 2 territory here. Oy vey. Okay, so we have another story to jump into, and I just have a couple of quick notes in between stories as we go. One is just a reminder that Jot Coffee, I was going to make one right before the stream today, and I forgot to bring the creamer from home. So don't have my Jot Coffee with me to show off and to keep me alive. So 3/4 of the way through this stream, if I just collapse on this desk, it's because I didn't have my Jot. But they are our first brand partner. It's also my favorite coffee, and it was my favorite coffee before they became our brand partner. And just a reminder, you can save 20% with code Dusty20 at jot.co. Jot.co. All right, I got another story to jump into here. I'm going to take a quick drinky drink. Drink it black, Curtis. I mean, I haven't tried it. I haven't tried it black. And when I drink normal hot coffee, it's, just black coffee with stevia. So I could do that, but I like my concoction the way I do it so much. I don't want to change it, man. I don't want to change it. Hey, one other note here. I am actually rocking some different effects chain for my audio as well. So I know I'm a little bit louder than I typically am. Apologies for that, but let me know if this sounds good to you, if it sounds as good as usual or better. I'm experimenting with some different settings in here. So we had an office creamer, Sarah, and somebody left it out. So it's no good no more. Had to bring it. And I didn't. Okay, our next story here is from the Am I the Astronaut subreddit, AITA. Am I the astronaut for charging parents who brought their kids to our child-free wedding? Ooh. My husband and I made it clear to guests that our wedding was child-free. I mean, I have a cousin with 8 kids, and a lot of our family and friends have 2 to 3 kids. The kids are generally good, so the main issue was cost. Our venue charges ages 2+ the same as adults, which is $250 per person, including tax and tip. Damn! What were these kids being fed? Filet Oscar? Lobster? It would be double the cost, and our venue wasn't big enough for all the kids. We wrote this on the website and clarified with anyone who asked, and everyone asked. We got a lot of grief over this, so we felt a fair compromise was to 1. Extend the dinner the night before to include kids, and the restaurant was very nice about having close to 100 kids. 2. Hire 5 babysitters for 25 to 30 kids on the wedding night for locals who couldn't find a babysitter last minute, and for guests who traveled with their kids. My in-laws offered their home less than 30 minutes away to host all of the kids. On the wedding day, 3 couples showed up with their kids. A total of 9 kids, 2 + 3 + 4. My husband was more upset than I was because these folks were on his side. Groomsmen offered to drive the kids to the house, but they refused and made a scene. My husband was called to handle it, and he said fine, as long as A, the kids don't cause trouble, and B, the parents pay the per head for the kids that can stay. The staff even quickly threw together a kids' table. I saw that unfolding and avoided it, and went about the day since it was a beautiful day and so much was happening. When the ceremony started, one kid started wailing, and another skipped down the aisle in front of me. Oh no. Just what every wedding photo and video needs. Some random rogue child skipping in front of the bride as she comes down the aisle. Oh my Lord. What was going through her mind right then? She would have been like, I never saw myself as a person who would push a child out of the aisle while wearing a wedding dress on my wedding day, but that vision had to have been rolling in her head. I played it cool, and the staff was on top of it. They escorted the mom and the 2 kids outside. The rest of the ceremony went smoothly. Hey, well, at least the staff was on top of it. During the reception, the same 2 kids were screaming and throwing food. Other guests and staff were trying to get them to sit. At one point, one kid went under my dress, which was so effing weird. I didn't notice and almost tripped. My bridesmaids pointed out that the food they threw got on my dress, and that's when I had enough. Okay, I should have done this a minute ago. Should have already done it. I gave my husband the look, and he rounded up the kids, brought them to the parents, and asked them to leave for good. After the event, and this is where we might be the assholes, we sent a bill to the 3 couples with a letter saying we had a lovely time with them and reminding them that they agreed to pay for the uninvited kids. 2 couples paid and were apologetic, and even said now they understand why we couldn't include the kids. Of course, the couple with 2 rowdy kids refused to pay because we asked them to leave before cake. Seriously. Instead of apologizing, we got a nasty call. All I said was they should be lucky I didn't send the dry cleaning bill for the dress. My husband even said this concludes their friendship. This weekend, they wanted to visit, and we said no thanks. They asked if we were still mad at them about not paying, and yeah, we are. Am I the asshole? Oh my God. Oh my God. There's this bar set by mother-in-law drama that I'm starting to think can only be surpassed by wedding drama. This wedding drama is intense. It is intense, and it's a one-time thing, right? It's like that one moment in your life, and you've done so much work to control it and plan for it and everything. Like, you can't control everything anyway, but they did so much work to control what they could, and even then. Ivan says, LOL, I'm secondhand angry. Oh, my gosh. I mean, Candy Thunder and I had a pretty chill wedding. So if this had happened, I don't think it would have been a big deal for us, but it's because we had a chill wedding. In most weddings that I've been to or seen footage or photos from, whatever, I can't imagine this going well. I can't imagine hardly anybody being okay with this. And there was so much pre-communication about not bringing kids. The people that still brought them, they chose the come what may path. And for these 2 with the rowdy kids, a lot came. A lot. Gemini says they were a lot nicer than they should have been. Oh, yeah. I mean, they have every right to do what they did. The whole leaving before cake thing, I think OP saying here, you're lucky I didn't send the dry cleaning bill, helps balance that out. Before her saying that, I was thinking, I mean, you could discount it 10% for the cake, whatever. It's all ridiculous, though. Hazel Love says, I don't understand why wedding guests think the event is about them and can do as they wish. Agreed. Wait. And these people, I assume they were married. They don't talk about them being married, but the ones with the 2 rowdy kids likely were married. They had a wedding. Wouldn't they know? Wouldn't they know what's okay and what's not okay? And even if you don't have kids, Hey, the one person, good to see you there. Sarah says they provided a babysitter. Yeah. Pixie-licious, yes, I am live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. Welcome. Good to see you here. Angela says, this is why I don't want to get married. Oh, no, you can't let that stop you. You can't let that. Angela finds the perfect person, the perfect life partner. Homeboy proposes, and she's like, nah, the wedding seems like it could be a disaster. I'm not going to do it. Like, no, my family has too many rowdy kids in it. I'm not going to get married. They pre-communicated. Eloping is fine. Like, not having a wedding, one thing. Not getting married because of being afraid of what could happen at the wedding. Oh, you can't let that control you. You can't do that. Eloping is a damn good idea. Hey, we've got a lot of stream shares going on. Thank you so much, guys. And as a reminder, sharing the stream does help us out a lot. So please remember to do that. Also, you see some of the members with the little storm badge next to their name. It's actually Lightning Bolt TORM, but the Lightning Bolt serves as an S, so it's Storm. That is, the Storm is our VIP group. Those are paid subs on TikTok Live, which is an option, I think, down in the bottom left, which you can do. I forgot to pull it up on my phone. But there are some perks to joining that, like you can direct message with us. You actually become a member of the VIP group on Facebook as well. And that VIP group we've been very active with. They get the first look at everything new that we're working on, and we include them, and they actually help shape a lot of the new things that we're doing too. A lot of the new website was stuff that they suggested and helped come up with. So it's a very cool thing, and it's a cool thing to get to be a part of there. So you'll see a lot of those. Thank you so much for the shares, guys. Appreciate that. In this specific story's case, hell no, OP, you're not the asshole at all. They need to pay. They chose the come what may path, and they have no control over the consequences of that because they surrendered their control of consequences when they had enough warning multiple times and still chose not to listen. I'd say go ahead and send them the dry cleaning bill too. Not that they're going to pay it, but you at least make a statement. The fact that they wanted to come visit you guys cracks my shit up. Like, Hey, I know we had this big beef and pretty much ruined your wedding, but we thought about coming to visit y'all this weekend. What? No, are y'all still mad about that? I can't believe it. Can't believe it. Just Beachy, I am live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. Heck yeah. Oh, Lauren. Oh, Lauren says, my one request was the flower girl not wearing white, and she wore white. I was mad. Am I the asshole? I'm guessing you were mad at her mom. And yeah, I mean, if you pre-communicate and it's your wedding and people don't follow those instructions, it's like an immediate ejection. You're out of the game. You get red carded right then. You're just done. You're done. I think having a wedding referee walk around, you know, like an NFL referee with yellow flags ready to throw and ejecting people left and right. Like there are solid rules for weddings. It is your day, and anybody who deviates from that gets their ass kicked out. That's what would happen if I was in charge of a wedding. Pretty sure Candy Thunder is thankful that I was not. Pretty sure. The Southern Karen chunky chick? Yeah, I don't know where she came from. She just came out there. That's the friend. Lauren says, yes, I was mad at her mom. LOL. I assumed. So you didn't walk up to this 4-year-old girl and you're like, I told you not to wear white, you little bitch. But that would be funny too. I mean, not funny. Like, I wouldn't suggest doing that. Mallory becoming a member of the Storm for the first time. Thank you so much for that. We'll get the invitation to that VIP group sent out to you after the stream today. 73 lightning bolts. Hi, D1027. Thank you so much. You are incredible. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much, guys. All right, we are going to jump into the next story. Before we do that, I wanted to chat swag with you for just a second and let you know that right now we have some test swag up on dustythunderswag.com. We have the new ascon design up there on a couple of t-shirts, a hoodie, a sticker, and even a coffee mug. This is from Spring. It is a Spring swag shop, which we're not totally sold on quality-wise or turnaround-wise or anything-wise. It is cheap, and we've basically made razor-thin margins to make it as attainable as possible for you. But proceed with caution because we can't attest to the quality or the shipping time on anything. But if you're itching for some new swag, it is there, and we'll probably leave that up for a while. But we're also working on some custom stuff on our end that we'll have on the website with the brand rollout, and you'll just have to stay tuned on that. But there is some stuff available right there. Link to camera 2. Schmutz camera 2 is not active right now. Sorry. Always looking for that camera 2. I think there is actually, or was at some point, a feature on YouTube Live that would allow you to bounce to different cameras if whoever was streaming was doing a multicam. I don't know if they're still doing that or if that's an actual thing. Chunky Chick with 102 lightning bolts. Thank you so much, Tori. Thank you for the roses. Appreciate that. Caitlin with the 31 fires and Tori with the 35 bolts. Thank you. Tupac is here. Holy crap. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a while, Tupac. Thank you, Tupac and Queen and Caitlin, for the gifts. Appreciate that. And in user, lots of numbers there with the star. Thank you so much for that as well. So swag, dustythunderswag.com. We do have that astronaut design on some stuff if you're itching for it. Otherwise, we'll have some new stuff coming out soon. All right, so we've got a follower submission for you. So I am using a Stream Deck. So Jen's turn says, use the Stream Deck on YouTube. Okay. Father Curtis says, camera 2 needs to be on Tony, just giving me a look. That's super accurate. Absolutely accurate. That's hilarious. I like it. I've actually been thinking about doing a camera 2 setup and having another mic at the end of my desk here. So we can have people join for lives. We'll see. Lots of experimental things coming. We'll see. Okay, this follower submission is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Telling My Husband I Feel Like a Single Parent? Man, we get a lot of these, don't we? My husband and I have 2 children, 6 months and 2 years. My husband and I also have 2 part-time jobs apiece. Part-time works around schedules better, so we don't need childcare. Both of my children were formula fed so that I could have help through the nights and not be the sole caregiver. That being said, nights have been my sole responsibility anyways. If I tried to wake my husband up, he would say, they can cry it out for a while, and then go back to sleep. Since then, I've tried not to complain and just deal with it. I figured that maybe he would get better after a while, but he didn't. My husband has now gotten to the point where he will go take naps, play video games, or go out with friends whenever he wants and doesn't help with the kids unless I'm at work. I don't know how much he actually does with them since I'm gone. All right, we'll go ahead and get this going here. He doesn't even acknowledge the kids most of the time. I handle 90% of the household chores and bring in 60% of the income. I also handle about 95% of the parenting. This last week, both kids got sick and started throwing up. My husband slept through the whole thing. Then he complained at how tired he was because I was making too much noise for him to get good rest. Once again, I bit my tongue and kept quiet. The last few days I ended up getting whatever the kids had. It's been awful, but I still have to get up and take care of both girls. My husband called off work because he is too tired to try and work. I called off because I'm sick. Then he got upset that we wouldn't have any income for those days we both called off. Then instead of him stepping in so I can rest because I'm sick, he went and took a 4-hour nap, during which time our toddler was a holy terror and our infant started throwing up again. It was the final straw, and I told my husband I was tired of being a single mom raising 3 kids. I told him he had to step up and stop acting like a child. He said that was a rude thing to say because he's been here since the beginning. And yes, he does help out occasionally, but I need a consistent father figure for my kids, not a when I feel like it figure. My mother-in-law agrees with me and said he needs to step up, but I feel a little bad because my husband has helped occasionally. Am I the asshole? Oh, yeah. Father Curtis said, as the story goes, Dad keeps moving further and further up the ascon scale. You are correct. Don't have kids if you're not going to parent your kids, Madeline says. Yes. Candy Thunder. Candy Thunder with the shocked face. What? This is insane. Yeah. Yep. You know what? Stories like this are really great, though. Because they help Candy Thunder, realize what a spectacular dad I am. I'm kidding. The fact that anybody goes through this sucks. And the fact that it's way too common and why is it always the dad? Why is it always the dad that is like, I don't have to do those things? Yeah, you do. Even stay-at-home moms, when dad works full-time, whenever you get home, it's like you're joining the fight at that time. Your reinforcements at that time. You're there to give your partner a break, and then you tag team it whenever that respite is done. It's not, I don't know why it's always the dad. Why? And in this case, you guys have everything equal so that you can be 50-50 parents and fight this together and be a team. And he just decided he's not going to be a part of that team. Why? Why? Oh, Candy Thunder says, I don't need stories to tell me that. Look at you. Look at you. Nisi says this is too common in 2023. This is a timeless problem. Nursey Deer says, why do dads think it's not their job? They act like they're doing the mom a big favor. Angel, hey, glad to see you here. Why do moms have to ask dad to babysit their own kids? Loopy Lou says, yeah, don't get it. Mally says, and then gets mad at her for taking a day off when she's sick. Just Beachy subbing for the first time. Thank you and welcome to the storm. We appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Chris says, it's not always the man. My ex was the same way. I did all the bathing, cooking, bedtime, etc. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah. My assumption is it's always the dude. We could say it's mostly the dude. The stories that I get, it's always the dude. But I can definitely see how it would be lopsided, or it could be a role reversal in some cases. Yeah, I lost the comment. There we go. Michael Dean says dad needs to put down the video games. That's where it gets worse, right? He keeps climbing up the ascon scale because instead of him jumping in, he does. He chooses some me time thing. So he's not just not choosing to engage. He's choosing to go in a different direction. Loopy Lou says I'm glitching. Am I glitching for anybody else? I haven't gotten a low stream quality message yet, so hopefully it's not everyone. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I think I've got everything shut down that I can. Okay, Loopy Lou, it may just be on your end there. Allison, thank you so much for the lightning bolt. Sandy, thank you so much for the TikTok. Appreciate that. Okay. Looks like we are glitching for a few, but not for everybody. So it may be a connection thing there. Sorry. Schmutz says the stream is solid. Sonia, thank you for the crown. Appreciate that. Nugs Dog says they do it because they know mom will pick up the slack. If mom was gone, they'd change their ways. And to her point here, she says that she doesn't know how much he does whenever she's not there. So we don't know. Like he could be completely capable. And this is a follower submission. So OP, if you're here, let us know if you want to. But I think this needs to be a serious conversation. And him, I think you need to redefine or help him define what being here means. Because just being physically in the house is not the same thing as being there and being a present father. It's not. It's not the same thing at all. He has to be an active parent, but this could be just a case where he just doesn't understand. He could not know what to do. He could feel uncomfortable jumping in because you've done so much of it up to this point. So maybe he requires some training. But I think having a serious conversation with him and being like, okay, being here in this house is not the same thing as being here and being an active parent. I need you to be actively involved and helping with tasks. And maybe train him. Maybe say, here's all the things that need to be done, and which of the things on this list are you comfortable with and which are you uncomfortable with? Nursey Deer, resubbing for month 2. Thank you so much. Love to have you there. He might just be uncomfortable and might be not engaging because of that reason. Now, him choosing to play video games and shit instead of at least offering to jump in is a brozo move. And him choosing to take a nap instead of jumping in, brozo move. He's making a lot of brozo missteps here. There's no doubt about that. But it might just be that he needs to become more comfortable. And yes, it's on him to be like, I don't know how to do this. Can you help with this, please? But I think if you actively train him on things and figure out what he is and is not comfortable with, you can at least identify those things and train him up to where you need him to be. And I think, I had to go through a lot of training with Candy Thunder because, when she was born, I ended up going back to work full time sooner than we anticipated. And I just wasn't there for a lot of things. So then as things needed to happen and it was real time, I had to be like, how do I do this? Like, how do you want me to do this? Like, what's been your routine? What's been working for you? What hasn't been working for you? And then you just get used to it as you go. But there in the beginning, it can be really scary if you're not the one there doing it the majority of the time. So it could be a training issue. It really could just be that simple. He's made some brozo moves, and he needs to understand that he's made brozo moves, but it might be a training thing. Glitching again? Dang it. What's going on? Tony, am I glitching on your end? Are you okay? No? Okay. Good gravy. I notice whenever I do streams on some other platforms that I never have any issues. It's only ever on TikTok, so I don't know what the deal is there. Don't know. Golden Hour says if mother-in-law agrees with her, that's a huge statement that he's in the wrong, and you might pull in mother-in-law for some help here, OP. You might pull mother-in-law in to help communicate with him, and she might be able to figure out what he's uncomfortable with too. The info for the group again. Oh, okay. To become a member of the Storm, I believe it's in the stream. You can go to the bottom left. Here, I'm going to pull up my stream under my personal profile and see if I can see it here real quick. Let me flip over just a moment. Mods, you might have to jump in and help here as well. Boop, boop, boop. Sorry. Hey, whoa, there I was. There I am right there. Okay. Yeah, bottom left, you see a star thing, and then it says subscribe to Reddit Set It. So that's where all the information on there is. Or the top middle. Yeah, top middle takes you to the same place. Cool. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate the help there. I appreciate it. If he said let them cry it out, that is what he's doing when he has them on his time while OP works, Tiona says. Ugh. Man, you're right. Which sucks. And sometimes that makes sense. Blue Easter subscribing for the first time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Storm. We'll be excited to see you in the VIP group. Sorry, I was glancing at Candy Thunder's response here. Communicating expectations is a huge deal. And there have been times whenever, Candy Thunder has to tell me that she needs me to step up in XYZ categories. And if she didn't say that, I wouldn't know. So communicating expectations here is a big thing. Telling him to step up and stop acting like a child is a big deal. And telling him that you're tired of feeling like a single mom raising 3 kids is a big deal and should at least explain the severity to him. But I think you need to go further than that. I think you need to get granular with it and say, I need you to do X, Y, Z and do it like this. And then he's got absolutely no excuse. And he also needs to understand that when he chooses to do me time things instead of jumping in, that's double worse. Autumnal Pumpkin, thank you so much for subbing for the first time and becoming a member of the Storm. Hey, you know what? All these members of the Storm, let's get some lightning bolts up for them. They are really, one of the biggest driving forces that, at least on the live side of things, really helps keep it going. Thank you guys so much. Lightning bolts is how we show love. So lightning bolts to the members of the Storm there. Thank you guys. Okay, getting ready to jump into our next story. Before we do that, Pam Carter becoming a member of the Storm. Thank you so much, and welcome. Lightning bolts for Pam here as well. Guess what's happening on Friday? He's over there shaking his head, but it's on the calendar. Tony Spark is recording a podcast with me. Ms. Miller, thank you for subbing and becoming a member of the Storm as well. I was going to attempt to pronounce the name. I might need a phonetic pronunciation if you can post that, because it looks like it's going to be something that I'm going to butcher. I'm sorry. Tony Spark, Friday. In a world where Tony Spark is on the podcast. And then I think we're going to bring Candy Thunder back. And then our good buddy Josh Schmutz, who is in chat today, he's going to get involved in the podcast as well. Yep, we're getting another one recorded. Hey-o. Heck yeah. Very, very pumped about this. It's like you guys know Tony already because he's involved in every single thing that we do for lives and a lot of the stories that we pick out for our normal videos too. I'm just by myself here, subscribing for the first time and becoming a member of the Storm. Thank you so much. Welcome to the group. Appreciate that. Lots of love for Tony Spark. He's nervous about it, though. Actually, we have a theory. We have a theory that he's not nervous about it at all. He's really excited to do it. He's just a little bit of a diva. So there's a little bit of this pretending to be nervous leading up to it. Just like, oh shucks. He's going to rock it out. We know he is. Schmutz, they only care about Candy Thunder. I know, man. I've tried to convince her to take over and do a stream takeover for me at one of these times. I have not been able to convince her to do that yet. She really likes to have the behind the scenes role. Okay, this one was posted to the Dusty Thunder subreddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for wanting to yell at my brother for being the worst best man ever? My brother, 24, and I, 28, have always had a great relationship growing up, besides normal sibling rivalry. About a year and a half ago, I proposed to my now wife and made my brother my best man. About 6 months after the engagement, one of the groomsmen was asking me when the bachelor party was going to be. I told him that I didn't know, and that was up to my best man. I was asked this a few times more because my fiance had her bachelorette party already. I answered the same every time that I did not know. Around Christmas time, I found out that my wife was going to lose life insurance because she was going to be too old to be on her parents' insurance. So we decided to have a quick court wedding and then go celebrate afterwards, and gave my best man a week's notice of it. The day came. He was there for the court wedding, but he decided to leave the celebration and go home to play video games with online friends. I was so hurt, and he said he would make it up to us someday. Oh man, how old is this guy? 24. Okay, the story's not done. I'm disappointed in you, son. That was a very dad thing of me to say. Michelle, thank you so much for subbing and becoming a member of the Storm. Welcome. Then came the day of the bachelor party, and it was utter chaos. He pretty much did not have a set plan for anything, and the stuff he did have planned we could not do because everywhere was busy until late at night. So we ended up driving around for an hour looking for something to do, which at that point I wanted to go home and be left alone. Then came the day of the actual wedding. He had been telling me for months that he had a speech ready. Uh-oh, there's my unstable internet connection. Okay, let me see. I will address that here momentarily. Then came the day of the actual wedding. He had been telling me for months that he had a speech ready, and when the time came for the speech, he said that he did not have one planned and just said stuff like, "You look beautiful, Mrs., and I have known this guy literally for my whole life." Well, at least he did it justice. Later, we had people saying that the maid of honor's speech was way better than the best man. I was so embarrassed and wanted to punch him right there that day. My parents were even embarrassed of him for that bad of a speech. I have not said anything to him because I want to be the better man, but almost every time I see him, I get upset and want to yell at him. And getting away from him is hard to do since we even work in the same building together. So am I the asshole for wanting to get in his face for being the worst best man ever? Edit! He sees it as he did nothing wrong, and he had prior engagements on the day of my court wedding and could not cancel his other plans. Oh, it's not just a bad friend. It's his brother. It's his brother. Like actual brother. Actual brother. Who clearly wasn't ready for this level of responsibility. And I think you learned something valuable here. It sucks that you had to learn this when it involves your wedding. But he can't handle this kind of responsibility. Dawn, becoming a member of the Storm. Thank you so much for subbing there. We're at 93, folks. 93. We've had our goal of 100 for a few weeks now, so we're getting awfully close here, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Make sure to return the favor when it's his turn. Nisi says maybe he's jealous. That's possible, but I'm gonna go with he's just irresponsible. Now, him having a prior engagement and choosing to go game with his friends, there are some games and some squads that have like pre-scheduled raids and that kind of thing. And if it was that kind of thing, like they're very religious about their gaming time, but he would have had to communicate that ahead of time. Him just leaving the party and then telling you what he was doing is stupid. That's a brozo move. If he had this responsibility, and thank you so much for subscribing, becoming a member of the Storm. You're at 94 here. Holy cow. him not pre-communicating that makes it seem like it wasn't a pre-scheduled thing, right? Maybe he squads up with his bros this certain night of the week in a very casual way, and it's not like a League of Legends raid or something like that. It seems like he just wasn't prepared for anything. Further evidenced by this was probably a casual gaming thing, because if it was more organized, he would probably be more organized in all of these other areas. He would know how to plan, but he didn't. He's just not, he can't handle that level of responsibility. And I would be pissed too. But I probably would have stripped him of the title way ahead of time. Sweet Demon subbing and becoming number 95 there. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Storm. Thank you very much. Watching midair from your flight to Denver, Laura? Heck yeah. Do you have a stable connection? Any glitching for you there in the middle of the air? And you're flying to Denver. Where are you flying from? Don, thank you for the star. Appreciate that. Just Beachy says, and you can always bow out of the battle too. Truth. Lauren, thank you for recognizing the True American t-shirt there. Don, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you. Brother's wedding should trump the game. You are right, Sonia. You are absolutely correct. It absolutely should trump gaming, even if he has a specific role in a role-playing game where they have a specific kind of thing set up. Brother's wedding should trump that. Absolutely. I don't know how he let it go on so long though. OP. And this was a follower submission on the Dusty Thunder subreddit. So if you happen to be here, how did you let it go on so long before stripping him of the title and just giving it to someone who could hack it? You know what I mean? That seems like you had enough warning signs here to be able to head this off. Oh, Sweet Demon says, I'm an only child, and stories like this make me thankful I am. When I first read that, I thought it said, I'm only a child, and stories like this make me thankful I am. And I'm like, what are you doing here? The bros being a little dramatic. Worst best man, not by far. Angel. Yeah, for him, he was probably the worst best man he could have chosen. But in the history of best men, no, yeah, you're right. There's been a lot worse out there. Nug says, I just tell bro how much it hurt for him to let you down with such an important life event. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know how much he's going to care, because one of the big problems here is that he lied his way through it. You know, he said he had a speech planned. He didn't. I don't know if he said that he had a bachelor party planned, but he didn't. It was all just utter chaos. Everything was chaos. He's the guy on the couch. He's the brother that just like lives on your couch. That's what he seems like. And I mean, either you just accept that having him as your best man means more than having a lot of structure to a bachelor party and his speech and that kind of thing. And you just accept that. Or if you value, having something structured, you choose someone who can handle that. And you can't have both in this scenario here. You just can't. You can't have both. James, who is Beer Today, he was a podcast guest. He was my best man for Candy Thunder and my wedding. And did a great job. LJ says, for me, there's no excuse. He agreed to be the best man that trumps everything. It should, but he knows his brother. And apparently he didn't know him well enough. Now he does. But, I mean, they've always had a great relationship growing up. He should have known what his brother could and could not handle. And it just seems like he just couldn't handle it at this point. Way to fail your brother, dork, Denise. Nice. Both immature? Yeah, I could see that, Sonia, because of his reaction here. I mean, remember, they're 24 and 28. Lady Sith, your daily scoop for drama. It's here. It is here. Stacy, hello from KC. Angel says we had no wedding party at all. It was great. That's safest. Eterna Phoenix, hello. Nursey Deer says my 19-year-old son was his brother's best man. Some people can handle it, some people can't. I can tell you that I had a good buddy who I was maybe 20, 21, something like that. He made me his best man, and I was not ready for it. I was too young, very disorganized. It was a very irresponsible time in my life, and I did not do that job justice at all, and it still haunts me. But now at this point in my life, I feel like I do a much better job. But you generally know what a person can handle whenever you make them your best man or your maid of honor. Nikki says, I feel like there's more going on about that we don't know, and that is possible. That is possible, but man, I don't know. Him lying his way through it, him choosing to go game instead of sticking with the party, especially as the best man. Take being the best man out of the equation. If your brother just left your wedding to go game, if he left your wedding celebration to go game, that would hurt either way. Eterna Phoenix, I'm glad you caught it here too. Jess Beachy says, I wasn't ready to be the maid of honor for my sister, but I did my best and asked other people what to do. There you go. Christian Emmanuel, giving you a shout out as instructed by Candy Thunder here. Christian Emmanuel, completing your day with a shout out here. It's good to see it. Glad to have you here. So Candy Thunder knew if she bumped that, I would definitely see it. Nice work, Candy Thunder. All right, we're going to jump into the next story here. I may be moving through these too fast. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. Normally, I enter whenever I start doing a live. It's like you enter this alternate universe and time kind of stands still, and I have no idea what's happening. I get my dance monkey mode. Right? Is that what we call it, Tony? Dance monkey mode. All right, this one. Dawn from Ontario, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that. Uncle Johnny, member of the Storm, thank you for the march. Appreciate that. Hoodie, you can submit your own story. You can do that at reddit-saidit.com. Oh no. Kate says, can you say hi to my dog in the Moira voice? What's your dog's name, Kate? Blue. His name's Blue. Hello, Blue. Blue, we hope you take a turn for the better with a heat stroke. That is some serious condition. We do not want you to be in heart failure. Holy crap. Not heat stroke, heart failure. I'm sorry, Kate. I butchered that up. Blue, we are so sorry that you are not doing well, and you will be sincerely missed. And now Dusty feels like an even bigger asshole for misreading your statement. We will miss you, Blue. Awesome name for your dog, by the way. Damn. Oi. Lil P, thank you so much for following. Appreciate that. Kate, I'm so sorry I butchered that in the first place, but I hope I made up for it there. Blue. Blue, you will be missed. That's too happy of a song, but it's a Bluey theme song, so it felt relevant. Too happy of a song for a dark moment there. Dang. You're my boy, Blue. He sits with you and watches when he can. Oh, crap. You're my boy, Blue. Dang. I'm sorry you're going through that. I know that's not easy. Yeah, our buddy Beer today went through that here recently, too. Dang. Blue hearts. Loving the blue hearts being thrown up here for Blue. Lots of blue hearts and lightning bolts. Sorry you're going through that. Okay, this is one from the Dusty Thunder subreddit as well. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Now, Rebecca, if there's one thing I do well, it's awkward. 100% authentic. No doubt about that. All right, this one is, am I the thunderhole for ending a 3+ year relationship, 3+ year friendship after he told me he liked me twice? I, 22 female, have been close friends with a guy, 22 male, for over 3 years. He's always been my confidant and go-to person, but it's always just been a friendship. About 2 years into the friendship, when I had gotten out of a relationship, he told me he liked me. I politely responded that I don't see him like that and that I've only wanted a friendship. He told me that he didn't want to damage the friendship we had, so he understood. He said he would move on, and I thought he had. A few months later, and for the next 2 years, I got in a serious relationship, as in he had picked out a ring, you get the idea. The relationship ended, he cheated on me, and about a week after the bad breakup, the friend tells me again that he liked me, and that I'm the perfect woman for him. I told him again that I saw him as a brother, and that I didn't want to date him, frustrated that he hadn't moved on after I thought he did. We were still very close friends throughout my last relationship, and he was even close with my ex. I trusted him, confided in him, etc. Should have done this a second ago. When I politely rejected him for the second time, he cried and asked that I comfort him. I had to, and when I say had to, it really felt like I had to, literally hold him and rub his back to comfort him. I shouldn't be laughing, but I am. Shouldn't be laughing, but I am. I feel bad for laughing. Oh boy. For the next hour, he asked me why I didn't find him attractive. Was it his height, his beard, etc.? And I had to keep telling him it wasn't any of that. It was just that I saw him as a brother. That was one of the most uncomfortable experiences for me. He also talked about how his love language is physical touch and asked if I could rub his back or hold him in the future if he needed comfort. This made me extremely uncomfortable, as the most I do with my guy friends is give them a side hug. I've gotten in trouble on here for using the friend zone word before. People think it's gross, so I don't know what's applicable for this. That's not that word. Tell me, please, because we need to classify this somehow. After all of this, I just wasn't comfortable being around him. I feel like that our trust has been broken, and the touch thing especially made me feel uncomfortable. He clearly has some confidence issues, but I'm not his therapist. I feel like I shouldn't sacrifice my boundaries just to help him feel better, and even stranger is that he's seeking comfort from the person who rejected him. I can barely stand the thought of being in the same room as him now. I feel some guilt for feeling this way, but I just couldn't see the friendship working after all of this. So, am I the astronaut? And the original question again was for ending a 3+ year friendship after he told me he liked me twice. Bro zoned. Creepy ascon zone. Oh no. Oh no. No! So, I think you learned something very important here, and that is, Schmutz, I agree with you here. Nursey Deer says he foobarred the friendship. Nugs says NTA. Schmutz says NTA. Chuck says friend zone 100%. OP even said it. She sees him as a brother. NTA. Oh yeah. I think what you learned is that the only reason that he's in this friendship is so that he can be seen as like your backup on deck dude. And he wants to eventually slide into that spot, and he's playing long game. Well, sort of. If he was playing the long game well, he would have kept his mouth shut for 10 years, but he's not doing that. He's waiting until a week after every relationship that you're in ends, and he's like, hey, how you doing? He can't even play it cool, man. The guy can't even play it cool. Play it cool, bro. Like, just learn to play it cool. But the only reason he's in this friendship with you is so that he can get the at-bat, because you're the perfect woman for him. He said he would put it behind him. The second time that he brought it up, really the first time that he brought it up, I don't think you can come back from that. I don't think you can have a friendship with someone who says that they want a relationship with you. I don't think they can ever let it go, and I don't think it can ever truly be okay. And the friendship that you do have, everything is being absorbed as ammo for him to be able to use to try to get you to be in a relationship with him. The whole hold me, comfort me thing, I mean, I don't know how you didn't laugh your way through that. I understand it was awkward, right? It was awkward, but it's that so freaking awkward that you almost have to just laugh at it because it's like, what in the actual is going on right now? What is going on? And guess what? If this was a sex reversal or a gender reversal, whatever it's called now, and it was a girl doing this with a guy, he'd be like, this chick is crazy. I got to get out of here. And I think that's probably the same way that you need to take it here. These are huge red flags. And the friendship, I think at this point, is just going to keep coming back to this point over and over and over again. He's never going to let it go. And now it's worse. Even if he is going to be your friend, he wants you to hold him when he's uncomfortable. And guess what? If you agreed to that, he's going to need that comforting on the daily, because that's all he's got to do to have you touch him. Nikki says, dude is emitting stalker vibes. Yeah, he's getting like a little bit closer and closer and closer and closer. You know what? Tell him to watch the show You. You're like, play it cool, man. You should watch the show You to learn how to play it cool. Not really, but oh my gosh. This is the exact opposite of playing it cool. I don't know what that's called, but it's the exact opposite of it. Like it made me actually shudder with discomfort. Legitimately, though, you need to create distance. This is also the kind of situation that could easily pivot into like a witness protection, like you got to disappear, change your name, change your address kind of thing. You know what I mean? How much does he know about you right now? Quite a frickin' bit, because he's been your friend. See how that works? For someone who is just in it for the chance at a romantic relationship with you, it is intel. They're learning as much as they can. It's dangerous. I mean, it could be. It could be dangerous. It's already extremely uncomfortable. And what comes after extremely comfortable? Danger. What's the theme of your birthday this year, Schmidt? It's danger, isn't it? No, it's not. The theme is danger. I knew it. Also, a new Dusty Award in the making. Just BG, yeah. Ex parte. Never see the ex parte. JC Moore, you can submit an AITA story actually a couple of different ways. You can submit it on the form at reddit-saidit.com. We have a submit a story form at the bottom. Also, you can submit it on the subreddit, which is r/Dusty Thunder. And here soon, which I actually published it today, so I guess you can get to it right now. You can check out the dusty-thunder.com website. We're still fixing a few things on it, but the form is functional in there, so you can submit it there as well. And eventually that Reddit Said It website will forward over to the new Dusty Thunder website. Yeah. Kim says, I sent mine in a bit ago. I'm scared for the day that you read it. Scared? If you're not the asshole, you have nothing to fear. Him, hold me when I'm sad, Chunky. Yeah. Oh, even if you had feelings about this guy, do you want to be in a relationship with him when he acts like that? Ooh, Angel says, we have the Dusty Awards. We should also have the Storm Awards voted by the Storm subscribers. I think that's what the future evolution of it is going to be. I think the future evolution is going to be all like follower voted or VIP group voted. There may be like one or two that we pick out ourselves. Also, we got a lot of work to do before we even attempt to try to do that shit show again. I'm still not emotionally and psychologically recovered from it, so it may be a long time. Hoodie, first live here. Love it. Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Kimberly, thank you so much for sharing the live. Amanda, thank you for sharing the live. Dasha says, I sent mine in a while ago. Do you get some kind of message when you post? No, we don't have that part figured out yet. And actually, one of the things that it's been haunting me is that we get so many follower submissions, and a small percentage of them actually make it into lives or make it into videos or anything like that. We're trying to institute a new flow where almost all of them would make it over to at least the Dusty Thunder subreddit, and we would forward those over and post them on there so that they at least start getting some activity and some exposure there, and people can jump in on them. And the ones that are most active there kind of naturally rise to the top, and those would be the ones that we choose to do videos on that didn't make the first cut. As long as they are things that we're comfortable getting into, like, we don't want to get into some certain topics, like, we won't get into that. There are some things that we won't touch, but we're trying to work on ways to get more of the stories that get sent in actually seen, because we can only do videos on so many. A whole lot of stream shares going on here. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate that. Tony, I missed something. The Dusties gives me flashbacks. Yes, me too, man. I have nightmares about the Dusties still. Every time I see that thumbnail or scroll down our page and see those Dusties videos, or see me with the suit and the long hair on the gold glittery background, I just get taken right back to that very stressful shit show of a cluster F of a day. The lesson I should have taken from that was never try to host any kind of fancy awards thing again. And then what did I do? A month later, they asked me to host the chamber banquet here. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll be the MC. Bad idea. But here we go. We're doing it. All right. This one is from Reddit and says, this is a long story. So I'm going to get me a drink of water and then we're diving in. How do you guys like the new shelf setup back here? I actually get to bring my astronauts out now, which I've had for a while, but here they are. We got our little astronaut sitting on a cloud. This wee little guy, just by pure happenstance that our brand uses astronauts now. Even got my trumpet sitting up there. Some Candy Thunder pictures, some fan pictures, and some Harry Potter artwork as well. Okay, here we go. Got to get myself mentally prepped because it even says this is a long story on it. So, all right. Am I the astronaut for purposely booking the same wedding venue as my sister, but earlier so I could get married there first? Wedding drama. We're off to a good start. My sister and I don't get along. Okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and do this right in the beginning here. I can be honest and admit that she's much prettier than me, and that's something she's never let me forget. Both of my parents are pretty shallow, and they've always given her the best and put her first. For example, if we both had a school event at the same time, they'd both go to hers. This has left me pretty bitter and distant from my family. My boyfriend of 5 years recently proposed, and I was super over the moon. And straight out of the bad rom-com script, my sister got engaged right afterwards. It didn't really faze me other than serve as a slight nuisance since my parents were more happy and involved with her engagement. My mom's been helping her plan, but couldn't help me because my sister needed more help, and she couldn't devote the time that you deserve. Don't feel bad for me, though, because my mother-in-law is a godsend and super sweet and genuinely treats me with so much love. Anyways, what really pushed me over the edge was when my sister told me that she booked her wedding at my dream venue. I know it sounds so annoying and cheesy, but I really cared about this location. It was sentimental to me. My grandparents got married there, and I've talked about wanting to get married there as far back as high school when I was just daydreaming. What does STG mean? I should know this. Huh? Oh, okay. STG, which apparently means swear to God. Swear to gosh. My sister doesn't give an F about my grandparents, but when I brought it up, my parents told me to stop being so petty. In a fit of actual pettiness, I ended up booking the same venue a month before my sister's wedding. I checked with the venue, and there's no way my sister can move the wedding up. They're booked up. And if she changes venues, she'll lose her deposit. My mother recently reached out to me and implored me to talk to my sister. I blocked her after the first call where she tried to ream me out. Apparently, my sister's really distraught, and my mom said the least I could do is try to work something out with my sister, especially over such a huge event. I said no, but my mom said I was the asshole for not even trying to hear her out and for being so stubborn and petty. I know my mom is biased, but it got me thinking because I've been pretty staunch about ignoring her calls, and some of my cousins have told me that she seems genuinely upset. I'm not sure whether or not I was in the right if I am being a giant asshole by being so stubborn. Edit. I do want to add that I'm wondering if I'm being the asshole for ignoring my sister, not for booking the venue. My sister flat out told my cousin that she couldn't care less about the venue and booked it because it was convenient. But suddenly when I want to get married there too, it means the world to her? I think not. My grandparents practically raised me since my parents were always missing out on my life events, so it was G-Ma and G-Pa who came to support me. I was always going to get married there one way or another. Edit 2. Hi, I wanted to share an update for those who have been kind enough to ask. I don't know who will see this or how it works, but I'll copy and paste it just in case. I appreciate everyone who took the time to comment. Both of the positive and negative comments opened my eyes. I spent my entire life being bullied by my family, and when I had comments from internet strangers roll in trying to make excuses and defend my sister for trying to make my wedding planning all about her, I realized that I would never win in the sense of doing the right thing. I talked it over with my fiance and he basically said, "You're literally never happy when you talk about your family. Why do you keep putting yourself through that?" So I decided to try talking with him one last time before going no contact, just so I wouldn't have any regrets. Most of you could probably guess what happened. My sister said that if I got married at the same venue as her, I'd steal the thunder. Gotta love that line. And that I was selfish for making my own wedding all about me. I countered with the fact that I've been talking about getting married here for over a decade. So why would she think I wouldn't get married there too? Only for my sister to reply that the venue would be a waste on me because there's no way I could ever plan a wedding as beautiful as hers. Like WTF. The final straw was when my parents offered to pay for my entire wedding if I moved it. My parents, who couldn't be bothered to show up for my engagement party because my sister planned hers for the next day and they'd need time to help her prep, suddenly wanted to pay tens of thousands of dollars just to make my sister happy. I think that kind of broke me. Long story short, or long, I told them that that effective immediately I was done being their punching bag and that they were no longer welcome at my wedding or in my life. They tried to play the sympathy card on social media, crying about how I divided the family, but my grandparents really came to bat for me. They basically made their own post shading my mom, their daughter, saying that they were so thrilled to see their granddaughter, who they raised, get married at their venue, and that my grandpa would be walking me down the aisle. That pretty much shut up most of the extended family. My cousin also let me know that my sister gave up her deposit in favor of changing the venue, which made me feel like it was proof that it was never about the venue and just about taking something that mattered to me. I wouldn't have cared if we married at the same place, though. I feel like I made the right decision because I have felt so much lighter since. My fiance is also happy that I'm happy. Holy moly, 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 moly. Yeah, Angel, I think I'm with you here. I think there was a pivot in here where for a while you're thinking like, yeah, I get it, but you're kind of being the asshole. And then as the story goes on, it just clarifies and clarifies and clarifies and clarifies to the point where you're like, no, completely toxic family. OP's grandparents are awesome, Caroline. Nursey Deer says toxic people do not change. I would agree with that as well. Kate, thanks so much for the lightning bolts. Appreciate that. They could get married at the same place. Nugs, they could. That's part of the issue here is that they could. It shouldn't have been a big deal that they get married at the same place. And OP apparently didn't care that they were going to get married at the same place. The issue was that her family was just all about her sister and couldn't give a shit less about her, which is weird. Right? I mean, this is weird. And sans the grandparents still being around and being able to testify on her behalf on social, she would have looked like the asshole to pretty much everybody. Maybe even us, but the grandparents stepping up here and saying, yeah, no, we had to raise her because our daughter and her husband were too busy and too focused on this other kid of theirs. That's shitty. How incredibly shitty is this? Man, having a golden child to the detriment of your other children sucks. That's not good parenting. Schmutz says you need to back up a dump truck full of red flags at OP's parents' house. There you go. Red flag confetti for that wedding. Faux show. It's going to look like this. Just like that. It's because of the grandparents. The grandparents are really coming in here and solidifying everything that she's saying because, there are probably a lot of siblings who are in similar situations and feel like the parents always gave all of their attention to another sibling, but having a grandparent come in and validate it here is a huge deal. Huge deal. Going no contact is the only thing that makes sense here. I wonder if the parents realize. I wonder if they realize that they screwed the pooch as being parents here. Kelly, thank you much for subscribing for the first time and becoming a member of the Storm. 96. We're at 96 right now. Kate says the fact that the parents like the other sister because she was prettier is just disgusting and cruel. Yeah. I mean, that's what OP says here. And, it could be a lot of personality stuff too, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what attributes she had that they liked better. Showing more support to the detriment of their other child is stupid. It's just stupid. Shannon, thank you so much for subbing and becoming a member of the Storm. We're at 97 here. Holy cow. Dread Zone. Don't associate yourself with your family because of that. Man. Nursey Deer says, sadly, my mom was the same. Didn't attend my graduations or my wedding. Went to my siblings. What? I don't understand. Like, how can you... I don't... And it's not like I'm assuming they didn't have a big age difference here. Did she talk about their ages? I don't think she did. Is her sister younger? Because if she's the baby, that may help. So that may help explain it. Stephanie Cavins, thank you so much for subbing and becoming a member of the Storm. 98 there, I believe. Holy cow. Holy clow? Yeah, I said that. Holy cow. Words are hard. Her being if she was the baby, that might make a little more sense because the baby of the family naturally just gets more attention. But Nursey says, I am the baby. But as they're adults getting married here, like she may get more attention as the baby, but it's not to the detriment of the other kid. It's not like, no, we can't come to your thing because we have your sister's thing the next day. And we would be working on planning that. Figure it out, folks. Jesus, come on. That's just ridiculous. And the grandparents having to step in and fill the void. It's messed up that had to happen. But thank goodness that OP had them. Katie, thank you so much for the beard love. I appreciate it. I shortened it up quite a bit over the weekend, actually. Shortened it up. I always ask Candy Thunder. I'm like, hey, should I shorten it up a little bit or just get rid of some wild hairs? And she said shorten it up. So that's where we landed. Brandy says, not true. I was the baby, but my sister came first. Sure. I'm not saying it's every scenario, but in most scenarios, like the baby of the family is naturally babied more. Anne-Marie, thank you for subbing and becoming a member of the Storm. Heck yeah, we are so stinking close now at 99. Holy cow. Spring beard hoodie, that's right. I am in spring beard. I am in spring hair aerodynamic mode. I'm just waiting for it to actually warm up now. It's got to happen eventually. Whoa. User 585 something says, hi, I have 5 cats. Well, that's a lot. That is a lot. Mo Mommy for change. Subscribing. Don Sully, subscribing. Becoming 101. You guys are awesome. You helped us hit our goal today. Thank you so much. That is so freaking cool. Books, Coffee, Tea, subscribing as well. Surpassing. Heat 78, subscribing as well and surpassing it even further. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support and allowing us to continue doing what we do here. It definitely would not happen without you. So thank you guys so much. I'm excited to welcome you to the Storm and to the VIP group. We'll get those invitations sent out to you after the stream today. And I think you're really going to enjoy being a member of that group. You're going to have fun. You're going to have a good time. We're going to show you a good time. We're going to make sure of it. All right. Oh, yeah. Is that you, Tony, that left that? The document that I'm reading from, Tony Spark left a comment on here and said he's looking for another story to add since I'm reading so fast. I'm staying more focused this time, man. I'm not getting I was getting too distracted last time. So this time I'm staying more focused. Thank you guys so much for all the love. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the lightning bolts, all the roses and gifts that you're giving here. Sunglasses. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Kate, don't ever feel like you have to be a paid subscriber. We're never going to go to like a paid only sub chat or anything like that. We'll provide added value to those groups. So don't ever feel like you're going to miss out on anything that you're getting right now by not being a paid sub. We aren't going to take that route. But those who can support us, you have our eternal gratitude, and we'll make sure that we give you enough value to make you feel happy with the decision to support us. Thank you. So one of the notes that I had here, I opened up TikTok this morning, which I normally do just to check and see how things are going, make sure nothing's crazy. And the first post that I saw was actually from the CEO of TikTok, and he's in DC this week, and he's talking about how he's lobbying to try to prevent the ban that is going on there, which we won't get into because we don't know what's going to happen there. But I do want you to know that that YouTube right now has the same kind of content posted on a daily basis. There are a lot of videos on YouTube already that are YouTube exclusives. They've never been shown on TikTok, and we've actually organized those into a YouTube exclusive playlist now. Angel from the VIP group was a huge driving force on helping us achieve that, so thank you so much to her. And just know that if you wake up tomorrow and don't have access to the app that you're using right now, YouTube is our go-to, unless something changes. Thank you so much for the corn, Jennifer. Appreciate that. President would lose lots of support. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen there. We don't know. We just want to make sure that we are still able to give you to put the content that you love in your hands. And lives would just shift over a different direction too. So just be ready for that. Just Beachy, you're a member of the Storm, so you're already a VIP. If you have joined today, then we will get you. We'll send you a request to direct message after the stream today, and I'll send the link to join that VIP group in the TikTok message so that you can join from there. And previously, if you've signed up as a member of the Storm and didn't get that message from us to join that VIP group, let us know, and we'll get you added that way, and we'll get that corrected. Anyway, if you're not following already on YouTube, be sure that you go ahead and do it. You should do it anyway because there's exclusive content there. You also get the compilations. You also get the podcast. You also get a lot of cool stuff. But just in case something happens, it will be an immediate pivot to there. And we're ready for another story here. Zool, remember the storm, eh? Caught me while sitting in a work van. All right. All right. Yeah, we made it to 101. We beat our live goal. We might actually be at, what are we at now? 101 or 102? It's crazy. Y'all crazy. I love it. Crazy in the best way. Nisi asking about the YouTube live. I didn't do one this week because it was spring break for us. We had a couple of days off for the team. We shut the agency down for a couple of days. Let the team just enjoy the what should be spring weather. And we took the kids down and played Topgolf with them down in Northwest Arkansas and did some fun stuff. And then I had a work day up here yesterday, but it was an abnormal week, and it was honestly like midnight whenever I started recording on Sunday night. So Sunday night or Monday night, I don't know. They all blend together, but I just did it offline this time, so it'll all be a surprise. All be a surprise. Melissa, you love the mother-in-law voice? Nice. She comes out when she wants. Moira, Moira's in charge. Nobody tells Moira when to come out. Moira decides when to come out. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of VPN talk on that side. I'd be shocked if something actually happened, but we just want to be ready. We want to make sure that we're ready. So normally, if you don't know this, I normally do a live on YouTube weekly as well, but I do it as a surprise live. So it's not a weekly scheduled thing. It's normally either Sunday night, Monday night, or sometimes maybe even Tuesday night, or I may not do one like this past week. But if you're subbed on YouTube, make sure you have the notifications turned on, because I do randomly go live there. And what I've been doing is I go live whenever I'm recording the batches of content that we use as posts on TikTok. So I actually have to run out and change shirts every 1 or 2 stories in between them, because that's what I do whenever I'm recording content. So it's fun. It is fun. We are actually we're in Missouri, for those of you who are asking. We're in Southwest Missouri. Northwest Arkansas is really close to us, so sometimes we'll bounce down there to do some fun stuff. Mandy, thank you so much for the voice love there. Appreciate that. Do I have an AITA story about myself? I don't think so. Oh, you mean stories that I could tell? I don't have any that we've recorded. Probably have plenty that we could tell. And actually, if you watch the podcast with Candy Thunder, we might go into a few of them on there. I'm sure Candy Thunder has a lot more asshole stories about me than I have about myself. I don't remember. Votive in Little Rock, hi there. Ada, and the weather here it's supposed to be rainy this week. It is warming up, though. It's definitely warming up. Truck story, Dawn. Thanks for that. Never going to live it down. Ashley Bush says, no way. I am in Joplin. No way. No way. Dusty, okay. Angel's asking if I've been the asshole. Candy Thunder says that I am at a default constant ascon 3. So that should just tell you everything you need to know. CEC in Grove, Oklahoma. You're awfully close to us there. Erica in Arkansas. Awesome. How often do we check submissions on TikTok? Submissions on TikTok. Oh, you mean when we get tagged on TikTok? So Candy Thunder actually checks that decently regularly. I don't know what decently regularly means, but I know she mentions it at least a couple times a week. Candy, we need a story. No, you don't. There are plenty of assholes out there on the internet that aren't me. You don't need to know. Y'all like me right now. Let's just leave it that way. Just leave it that way. What do I say, Tony? I say, I may be an asshole, but I'm an asshole with purpose. So when I'm being an asshole, it's functional. It's to get some shit done. Sometimes I'm just an asshole. Justine, hello from El Paso. It's good to see you all here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We do have we got 2 more stories to read at least. Unless Tony Spark finds another one for us here. We should be okay. 2 stories. We should be good. I'm making up some time here. You're getting all 4 seasons today? Holy cow. Ignacia. Good gravy. Where's the best place to submit a story? Shannon, member of the Storm, asks. You can do that either at the website, which is reddit-sedit.com, or the subreddit, the Dusty Thunder subreddit now. Is another place you can do that too. Really, Linktree, which is linked in our bio, is always going to have all of the links that you need for where to submit a story and do all that stuff. So, Coco is in Tennessee. My sister actually lives in Knoxville, and we love Tennessee. Love going down there and doing some hiking. It's been a while since we have Navy Thunder now, who's in her toddler mode. Brockers, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Z Queen, Gigi, Z Queen, Chrissy, thank you guys so much for the gifts. Appreciate that so much. All right, I'm going to dive into the next story here. Gotta wet the palate. Okay. This one is from Reddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for not celebrating my girlfriend's birthday? This happened a couple of days ago, and we are fighting about it, and I just want to know if I'm being unreasonable. So I've been dating Cora. Totally almost said Cobra, which would be a badass girlfriend name. A little scary, but badass. My girlfriend, 25, for a couple of years now, and she just had her birthday. A week out, I asked her not to make any plans for her birthday, obviously stating that I had made evening plans for us. Dinner at this restaurant she's been talking about for ages, dessert, and then a drive to go stargazing. I had been hinting around it all week to Cora. I might just start calling her Cobra. I also asked if her friends wanted to celebrate with her. They told me at the time they had not figured anything out yet, so I assumed they weren't doing anything and then made my plans. The day of Cora's birthday comes and she leaves in the afternoon. I thought no big deal. She was probably having some birthday time to herself. She hadn't posted on her story or anything, so I didn't think anything of it. 6 p.m. rolls around. I'd messaged her and called her and still nothing, so I checked her location because she normally replies very quick. We have each other's location for safety reasons. And she was at one of her friend's houses. So I asked her friend if she'd seen my girlfriend because I had a birthday surprise set up for her. Turns out that her friends did make plans for her birthday and didn't tell me because they thought I would ruin the surprise and wanted it to be a complete secret. They had lunch and then made more plans to go out to some bars and celebrate. They then invited me, but I declined out of politeness and not wanting to crash their plans, since she sees her friends rarely outside of work. I messaged Cora to have a good night with her friends, and I'll see her when she gets home. I had a cake waiting for her and thought nothing of it and hung with a couple of my friends. Cora came home and was angry I turned down her friend's invitation as she wanted to see me with all of her friends on her birthday too. I said it wasn't a big deal and that I saw her in the morning and when she got home anyway. I also said that the invite felt like an afterthought when she had all the time during the day to invite me and she didn't. Am I being the asshole here? Edit, she knew there were evening plans, just not the specifics of what we were doing, hence the hinting.
Cobra.
Oh, man, you got to be careful when that cobra strikes. Strikes hard. Leaves a mark. Might cost a limb. Might cost a limb. She should have told him she wanted him there, Nursey says. Yeah, a lot of NTAs based on this version. NTA, lack of communication on her friends and her part. Cobra is the asshole for sure. I don't know why my brain saw that. I just saw it. Cobra. Oh, Red Wolf, love listening to me on Spotify. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Communication was terrible, Chuck, on everybody's part. I think that's my takeaway here is that if he wanted to make sure that the friends didn't make plans that overrode his plans, he probably should have include them in. And for the friends, if they wanted to make sure he didn't make plans that overrode or interfered with their plans, they should have clued him in. Nobody talked to anybody, and that's why this ended up as a cluster F. Because nobody talked to anybody. But he said his girlfriend knew that they had evening plans, so she chose her friends over him. Right? Is that what you guys are getting? She chose her friends because she knew there were plans. And she just decided to stay with her friends because they made plans too. So it was poor communication on everybody's part. But I think given the circumstances and how this scenario played out, I don't feel like he did anything wrong. I think saying, yeah, the invitation to him was clearly an afterthought because it only happened whenever he reached out to them. I wouldn't go either. I'd be like, no. You guys are doing something. It's cool. I had made plans that you guys completely effing ruined, but that's okay. I'm not going to come join in with your thing. You guys have fun. He didn't say the part about them ruining his plans. He was very polite about it. Did she know or did she know? Was she actively listening to his hinting? Surely. He says she knew there were evening plans, just not the specifics. So I think we have to take him at his word here and say, Cobra knew. Cobra knew what was happening. And she wasn't exactly answering her phone or talking to him at all. You're right, Queen. But I think he could have avoided this by communicating with the friends and the friends communicating with him. But for his purposes here, as the boyfriend, I think you have to clue the friends in so that they don't make plans that interfere with yours. You guys both ran the same play. That's what happened. You guys both ran the same play and cut each other out of it, the friend group and OP here, and that's why it turned into a cluster. But she ultimately ended up choosing her friends. Why she's mad that he didn't come join whenever she knew that there were evening plans that had gotten ruined, or even just communicate with him, period, I'm a little confused by. Like, why would she do that? Angel says my husband is horrible at hinting when he thinks he's being clear. I probably would get accused of that as well. The friend knew too, didn't she? Angela asks. I don't know, because I mean he didn't hint to the friend, assuming that he hinted. OP hinted to his girlfriend enough to where she talked about it to someone else. Maybe. Books Coffee Tea says she assumed his plans weren't going to be as fun. I guarantee that's accurate. Then going to the bar with all of her friends. They're young. Hopefully now he knows better to be more direct next time. Good point, Vita. She's 25. We don't know how old he is, but yeah. This is one of those things that you learn by failing at. You learn by failing at communication that you need to communicate better, and you start pre-communicating. That is absolutely accurate. Cobra was being a diva, Jennifer says. This Cobra thing's sticking. Cobra should have communicated that she had something planned. Oh, to her friends. Yeah, if she knew, but you guys have me thinking that maybe he just thought she knew and she just didn't. Either way, communication all over the place here just sucks. Poor communication. On her, on OP, on the friends, everybody. Everybody sucks at communicating. And now at least he knows better. I'm not putting him on the ascon scale here. Not going to do it. I mean, damn, should we? Because this could have been done differently. Let's look. Oh, it could have been done differently, bro. No. Okay. As a reminder, those of you who haven't seen the ascon scale before, this is based off of the U.S. military's DEFCON scale. So 1 is the worst, 4 is the least amount of asshole. And ascon 4 is you could have done it differently. Typically, we say maybe you're an asshole, maybe you're not. ascon 3 is you should have done it differently. Not could have, but should have. ascon 2 is you definitely shouldn't have done that. And ascon 1 is you're a terrible human. He's definitely not a terrible human, but I do think that this lands him in this unfortunate territory, which didn't even work. Let's try it again. Not that one. This one. What is going on there? Four. Because it could have been done differently. Maybe even a 3. It should have been done differently because the communication should have happened ahead of time. I hate to put him on at all, but it could have been avoided. And I think that's the point. It could have been avoided. 4 only if you have to. Yeah, I think that's right. They all could have done it differently, though. You're right, bless mom. And I think that's an important thing to remember here. You can have more than one asshole in a story. A lot of people get hung up whenever we do a video and give someone an ascon classification. And they're like, no, they're not the asshole. They're the asshole. Everyone can be an asshole at once. It's entirely possible. This is not a mutually exclusive kind of thing where only one asshole can be in a story. There can be all kinds of assholes. Jackie D, he spoke with the friends, but he didn't tell them anything about his plans. He checked to see if they had plans. Which you would think, as the friend who's receiving that communique, that, like, yeah, obviously he's trying to plan something, but there's a lot of asshole talk. It's what we're here for, man. What we're here. Never surprise Cobra, Cade Dwyer says. That's right. You should generally never surprise a Cobra. Laura landed in Denver. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us if you end up having to jump off. And have fun in Denver. Due diligence on everyone's part. Also, he could be leaving out some things too and making things differently too that the friends did, sure. I mean, we only ever get one side of the story and we only ever get whatever version they decide to hand to us. But we know that communication sucked on everyone's part here. So he hits a 4 on the scale, so does everyone else. At least. He could have done it differently, and I think he knows to do it differently next time. And the big takeaway is just pre-communicate. And if you want to make sure that nobody's going to interfere with plans that you're making, you've got to tell them. Angel with the lightning bolts and snakes here. Oh, boy. Dora with the snakes as well. We've got the Cobra Ascon. Cobra Ascon 2-ish. Man. That's tough, though. I mean, I'm sure that's a tough situation to be in, and he's got to feel like shit because he went to all this effort for her that just immediately got thrown aside and then didn't want to go crash their thing, which I agree with. I wouldn't want to accept that invitation either and go join something when it felt like they were only inviting him as an afterthought, but also because they felt like they had to, because he reached out trying to figure out where his girlfriend was. I mean, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go either. I don't know why she's upset, though. That's the books, coffee, tea, like on the Orient Express, they all played a part. Truth. Truth, truth. Double deuces with the 41 lightning bolts. Thank you so much. Byron with the 10. Thank you so much. Jennifer with the confetti. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Alaskan Nan, thank you so much for sharing the stream. Appreciate that. Brandy says her friend's definitely higher on the scale because they didn't want the surprise ruined so wrong. Angel, and what girlfriend doesn't say I'm going out with my girls tonight? She was surprised by it. I mean, they surprised her by taking her out, but still, whenever she knows what's going on, like learns what's going on, yeah, that's a quick text. Like, hey, or maybe one of them stole her phone to make sure that it was like a kidnapped party, which is possible. They could have taken her phone and been like, all right, we're going out. Put your phone down. You're hanging out with us. And if that was the case, which I could see a group of friends doing, then it's a lot more on the friends. A lot of stream shares going on here. I'm Terry Lee Babs. Love my family. Dana, thank you so much for that. Appreciate that so much. Eterna Phoenix says maybe she hoped he would break up with her. That's entirely possible. That's an angle that we're not even looking at here, Nikki. Like you said, maybe she was purposely avoiding him. Oh, Just Beachy says my friends would have talked to my boyfriend to see what is going on. Right, there should have been a lot more communication. Okay, we are getting ready to dive into the next story here, and Tony's trying to jack with me, but I'm looking ahead at the document here. He said at the very end of this, like after I end the stream, he actually put on here, I'm Ron Burgundy. He put the question mark on it. He put the question mark on the teleprompter. Trying to mess with me, man. Trying to mess with me. I'm like a mongoose. I'm all over that. Every time I scroll up and see Cora's name now, I see Cobra. Gosh dang it. It's a good thing I don't have any close acquaintances named Cora. I'd be in big trouble. Stay classy. Okay, here we go. Am I the astronaut for telling my child's daycare teacher that my child won't finish cleaning up? My 2-year-old daughter has been in a home daycare for a few months now. The teacher, Sasha, is very nice. I am normally all for my daughter cleaning her own messes. However, I find when I arrive, Sasha expects my daughter to finish cleaning up whatever she was playing with, which again would be fine, but it delays us getting out the door and heading home. Sometimes we have plans, etc. I started texting Sasha when I was so many minutes away, asking her to get my daughter ready, and that seemed to work. My daughter would be in her jacket and reading a book, easy to put away versus a huge Duplo project or something similar. Until today. Things were crazy and I was in a rush. We had a lot to do this afternoon and I was running behind because I had car trouble. When I arrived, my daughter and some friends were in the middle of cleaning up a big mess. I told my daughter that we had to go and to go get her coat. Sasha said she needed to finish cleaning up her part. I said any other day, sure, but I'm running late and we cannot miss this appointment. Sasha tried arguing that the kids need to learn responsibility, and I flat out said no. I grabbed my daughter, put on her coat, and left. As I said, hectic afternoon, so I only just now had time to check my texts. I had one from Sasha saying poor planning on my part doesn't mean I can break rules. I pointed out that this is not in the contract and I can bring my child home whenever I need and want. She accused me of undermining her authority. I was given a verbal warning, which I found ridiculous. Am I the astronaut? Thoughts here? Thoughts here for those of you who have interactions with like private daycares or babysitters. What? So I guess my question for OP here is there's this system that was working and then it's until today. On that day, she doesn't say whether she texted ahead or not. I guess she did. I guess she would have because her daughter was cleaning up a mess. But if she messaged ahead of time and let her know, Fish, there's a lot different today. my hair's back to short, which has been this way for like a month now, but the beard was shortened up a little bit. Also, I'm standing. My desk is a convertible desk, which can do sit or stand, and I installed these shelves in the back. So there's a lot going on that's different here. One day isn't going to hurt. The teacher's being difficult, Nikki says. A lot of NTAs coming on here. Daycare provider seems controlling. I'm just by myself here, says. I think it's 50-50. Books Coffee Tea says, assuming this is an isolated incident, no. As a practice, yes. I would agree there. Nursey Deer says it's not like an every time occurrence. Dawn says if she called ahead this time and mentioned that she was on a tight schedule, then she's not. Yeah. Chuck 84, OP is the parent, not the child. Got a warning? Issues happen. They do. Brandy, as a former daycare provider, says OP is in, not the asshole, but the daycare provider is. There you go. There's a good perspective from somebody who was a daycare provider. I look very stressed. Me? I'm not stressed. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm chill. I'm good. It's fine. Fine. It's cool. It's cool. Don't think it warranted a warning. Me neither. And this all comes down to a control issue, right? I mean, if she messaged ahead of time, and especially if she messaged ahead of time and said, we're going to rush, then it would have been more clear communication. She probably didn't do that because her daughter was cleaning up, but she was obviously not in a rush. And I understand and agree with trying to teach the kids responsibility here, but also life happens. And I think it's important to teach kids that sometimes you have to walk away from what you're doing, knowing that you may have to come back to it later. Or as you have to, there can't be so much rigidity beaten into kids that like they have to follow this system. And when there's a deviation from the system, their whole mind falls apart, because that's how you end up like me. Like I have a plan, and when my plan falls apart, I fall apart. There's an opportunity here to teach the kids to be versatile and to be able to adapt. And I think that's what the daycare provider is missing out on here, is that yes, responsibility is important. It's also important to be flexible. And daycare provider here doesn't seem like a flexible person at all. Not at all. You got to be ready to pivot. You have to be. Pivot! 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 Right, Ross? You got to be flexible, Nursey Dear. You're right. Maybe a provider didn't see the text, but should remain flexible. And yeah, I could see that. And if, even if she did see the text, I mean, because she was actively cleaning up, her daughter was actively cleaning up whenever she arrived, it makes me think that she did see the text about being on her way, but chose to go ahead and send her through the normal routine. Pam says, I'm using Pivot. Do it. Do it. Candy Thunder has a Pivot license plate frame from Friends. Ms. Miller. I'm still not attempting that first name. Elid? Is that right? Elid? I'm going to go with that, and just let me know if that's not correct. I just got an unstable internet connection warning as well, so apologies if I'm glitching out. She says, I mean, look, as adults, we all have shit happen, right? We've all had to blow something off to handle another thing. Yes, exactly. And I think that's the point here, is that you can be like the flexibility that has to happen as an adult. Like there are some times when you're not going to be able to finish what you're doing. You're going to have to walk away from it. There are some times whenever you're not going to be able to finish that laundry or those dishes or this project, you're going to have to come back to it later, or just accept that you're not going to be able to finish this thing. That's just how some things go. And flexibility, especially today when things happen so fast, flexibility is a huge skill that needs to be taught. I probably should have spent more time learning to be flexible. Just saying it. Star, thank you for the fire. Appreciate that. Nancy, hello. You're jumping in late here. Yeah, we're actually just finishing up our last story here. Sorry. But I think in this specific instance, OP's not the asshole. Life happens, and life with kids is stressful AF, and you have to be flexible and change plans all the time. JC, thank you for following, man. Appreciate that. You have to be able to be flexible, and I don't know where you go from here, right? I don't know, if this was our daycare provider and this was the hill she decided to die on and planted a flag with it. I mean, what happens with a verbal warning? Nothing? Okay, then move on. Next time you have an urgent thing, just make sure you pre-plan, and maybe instead of just a text, if it is an urgent thing where you're like, hey, I'm in a big hurry, we don't have time for bullshit today, then maybe call instead of just texting to say, hey, I know that this isn't part of the normal routine, but we're going to be in a really big hurry and I really have to get out the door right now. So if you go ahead and have her start doing her thing now, we're going to have about X minutes for her to get that done. So let her know she's got about X minutes to get this done. Nursey Deer says, Uncle Johnny has a really good solution here. I've got to scroll back up. He says, daycare needs to set up clean time before all the kids are picked up. Then keep toys to a minimum after. That's a damn good idea. Uncle Johnny's onto something there. Like you have a specific time during the day that is, 30 minutes before pickups start where you get everything clean, and then it's minimal and then it's easier. Anne Marie says she submitted a story a couple of weeks ago, and hope she didn't miss it. Let me scroll through the titles of what we read so far, just so you know. Ashley, just noticing the haircut. Thank you very much. I'm going to have some hat lines here, but it is a lot shorter now. Whole lot shorter. Here's what we've read so far. Definitely have a hat line there. We have read, am I the astronaut for telling my 9-year-old her dad and I are getting a divorce when my husband wasn't home? We read that. We read, Southern Biscuit subscribing for the first time. Thank you so much for being a member of the Storm. We have surpassed our 100 today. You guys are just crazy awesome. Love it. We're going to have a lot of new invitations to send out for that VIP group here. The next one we read was, am I the astronaut for charging parents who brought their kids to our child-free wedding? That was a good one. And then we read, am I the astronaut for telling my husband I feel like a single parent? And then we read, am I the astronaut for wanting to yell at my brother for being the worst best man ever? And then, am I the astronaut for ending a 3+ year relationship or 3+ year friendship after he told me he liked me twice? That one was awkward AF. And then we had, am I the astronaut for purposely booking the same wedding venue as my sister, but earlier so I could get married there first? And that one was twisty. Very twisty. And then, am I the astronaut for not celebrating my girlfriend's birthday? And am I the astronaut for telling my child's daycare teacher that my child won't finish cleaning up? That's all we read. That's all we read. Verbal warning. Oi. Sorry, had a bump there. Nicole, when are we going to get a Dusty t-shirt fashion show? That might be a good story or reel or something like that. And gotcha. Okay. If you let us know what the title of your story is, we can try to find it on our end and make sure we at least know where it is. Casey Strong, heck yeah. How about them Chiefs? Even with the trade news going on, we're still good. We good. We're good. We're in good shape. Books, Coffee, Tea, give the daycare a verbal warning the next time they have to change something. Ooh. Books, Coffee, Tea, getting spicy here. You're going to exchange verbal warnings. or just keep, I'm sure there's something on Amazon or Etsy or something, but some kind of warning slip notebook. Just keep it in your car, your purse or whatever. And, just start writing them up. Give them a written warning. But like she said, it wasn't in their contract. There was nothing like that in there. So a verbal warning for something that wasn't in their agreement doesn't really make sense. But you just got somebody who's very rigid, and being a part of the flexibility that we have to have is figuring out how to be flexible with rigid people, right? So mom's going to have to figure out a way to make this work if she doesn't want to have to go to the pain of finding another daycare provider. So there is a way to do it. You just have to be flexible with it. And you would wish that your daycare provider could be more flexible as well, but you can't count on that. So find a way. Find a way. Someone please tell me if it worked. Hi from Alaska, Southern Biscuit says. Hey, Ingay 2021, subscribe to YouTube. Thank you so much. Yeah, as a reminder, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. There are daily posts there. There are weekly compilations, monthly podcasts, monthly-ish. And we now have an official YouTube exclusives playlist there. So if you've only ever watched videos here on TikTok, you can go straight over to YouTube right now and watch that playlist. I think there's 30-ish videos on there at current, and more will be added each week, but it's all exclusives for YouTube. Very, very cool. Okay, that wraps us up today, and right on time here. Look, 6:01. I was like a minute or two late, so there we go. Thank you so much for being here today and for helping us get to over 100 paid subs here on YouTube Live. You guys are incredible. You're freaking awesome. We'll be sending out your invitations for that live VIP group here shortly. Look for an invitation from me where we'll direct message on there. If you have your account set to private, we'll request to be able to message you. So you'll have to look out for those as well. And it takes a little bit longer going that way, but we'll still get that invitation over to you. I'm Ron Burgundy. There it was. He noted on here that this wasn't just Tony Spark. It was Candy Thunder as well. You messing with me, Candy Thunder. Lily V subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Thank you so much for jumping in there last second. I appreciate that so much. We will be back here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. We may or may not have a live on YouTube at some point. If we do, it'll be Sunday night or Monday night, most likely. So make sure you have your notifications turned on YouTube. There will be daily posts there, weekly compilations, faux show. That is a steady Eddie kind of thing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much. All of you new Storm members today, you guys are awesome. All of you existing Storm members today, thank you. Everybody who showed up and engaged and gifted and everything, you guys are awesome. I hope you have a great rest of the week here. Remember to go sub on YouTube and look for new content there. That exclusives playlist is there to see you. Mrs. Stratton, we are actually posting, we're downloading our TikTok lives and now posting them every week on TikTok as well. So I think there's a live recordings playlist over there that you can go check out and to see the past few. We haven't done all of them, but there are the past few on there. So you guys, thank you so much, Kate. Kate, so sorry about Blue again. Yeah, I hope you stay strong through all of that, and knowing that he used to sit with you and watch lives here too is just oof. But stay strong through that, and yeah, we'll be seeing you tomorrow with more posts and seeing you next week back here on live. Thank you guys. Let's rock it out to some music on our way out, shall we? Shall we? Let's see if I can find it. I don't know where it is. Thank you again. You guys have a great night. I guess that fading back into my face doesn't really work if we're trying to do an outro here. We'll come up with something for that. You guys have a great night. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Appreciate it.